Nice curtains. We like them, huh? Seem pretty clean. Interesting texture. A bit rougher than you'd expect. If you were wondering. Knowing my crowd, at least 3 of you were sitting there wondering. I walked past the line when I got here. I saw some of you. You look like what RFK is trying to cure. That prick. His new one today, he said he's going to find out the cause of autism by September. He's treating it like some Scooby-Doo villain. Like he's just gonna pull a mask off. It's been Skittles the whole time. Specifically the red ones. What a weirdo.
How's your diet? What do you eat? How are you doing?
I eat a lot of protein. I stay away from packaged foods. I eat whole foods if it comes from the ground, if it comes from an animal, if it comes from the ocean or from the air, I will eat it. But I don't eat anything that comes in a package. And that's, otherwise I'm pretty eclectic in my diet, and I do eat a tremendous amount of protein. We can make answers, and above all, we are going to get rid of the taboos about challenging orthodoxies, about challenging consensus, and we're telling the public every day, all of us, that is not science. Your whole industry was telling the public for years, trust the experts. Trust the experts is not a function of science or democracy. It's a function of totalitarianism and religion. 1 in every 31 kids today in California, which has the best database, is 1 in every 20 children, 1 in every 12.5 boys. This is an existential disease. Every other disease like this has a registry, and it's voluntary, so that public health officials can monitor the numbers. It's not private information. It's not information that is going to go out to other agencies. It's a voluntary system where your privacy is protected. Just a system for keeping track of a disease that is now becoming debilitating to the American people.
Some of the things she's advocated for, she never finished her residency, and she doesn't currently have an active medical license. But that's not...
She was the very top of her medical class at Stanford. During her residency, she won every award that she could win. She walked away from traditional medicine because she was not curing patients. She couldn't get anybody within her profession to look at the nutrition contributions to illness. And she said, if we're really going to heal people, if we're healers, we can't just be making our life about building new procedures. We actually have to figure out new approaches to medicine. And that's the kind of leadership that she's going to bring to our country. In August, the National Toxicity Program, which was an arm of the NIH, did a meta-review of all the science on fluoride and found that there's a direct inverse correlation between fluoride exposure and low IQ in children. So the more you get, the stupider you are. And we need smart kids in this country, and we need healthy kids, and thank you for your leadership. We're going to get there.
We got Mr. Whale Carcass, Mr. Bear Carcass himself, telling us what we need to do. We got to create this autism database, you know what I'm saying? The same man who claimed that heroin increased his IQ and allowed him to sit still so that he could focus on the work he had to do in class.
President Trump's 104% tariffs to China were made live last night. 104% is not just an A++, which is exactly what President Trump does. He always goes for the gold. He goes for the extra credit as he moves at Trump speed, and he's our deal maker in chief. But no, the 104% tariffs are symbolic because 104 is actually a fever that you need to be hospitalized for. And the only cure for that is not more cowbell. It is America.
What's up, everybody? Major Retired Richard Ojeda here, and Karoline Leavitt is not just spinning lies. She's laying the tracks for tyranny. And yeah, we laugh at it all because the alternative is just terrifying to face. We've got a press secretary who's not just spinning lies, she's weaponizing them. Karoline Leavitt shuts down reporters, dodges real questions, scolds the press, and treats accountability like an attack.
Does the president feel that he was misled by his national security advisors, whoever it was that told him there was no classified information in there, now that he's seen these messages?
I've now been asked and answered this question 3 times by the both of you, and I've given you my answer. The president feels the same today as he did yesterday.
Okay. Philip. And on my follow-up on what you had just said.
Go ahead, Philip. Caitlin, I'm not taking your follow-up.
I have a follow-up on something you just said, though, Caroline. That's
Caitlin,
regarding
I'm not
Jeffrey
taking
Goldsberg.
your follow-up. Philip, go ahead. I have called on you.
She's been dubbed BS Barbie, Propaganda Barbie, and honestly, it fits. The press corps is fed up, and TikTok comedians like Lysandra Vasquez are roasting her to hell and back.
Welcome back, Associated Press. It's good to have you this far north of the Gulf of America.
How valid is the statement that all countries are begging to work with us?
No, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much. No, the phones are ringing off the hook, actually. And frankly, it's insulting that you don't think that the phones are ringing off the hook in a positive way. People are begging to be in a partnership with America. We will be made wealthy again. No thanks to Joe Biden.
Think about it. If you come in like a smug know-it-all, talking down to the press, silencing questions, spinning policies that harm real people, don't be surprised when the backlash is brutal. There's no excuse for covering up war plans, no excuse for defending tariffs that tank our own economy, no excuse for trying to turn propaganda into policy. Karoline Leavitt walks out there every day with a forced smile, a hollow script, and the audacity to act like she's untouchable. But when you act like that, when you preach to professionals like you're above them, you're going to get dragged through the mud. You're going to get clowned. And comedians like Lysandra Vasquez, yeah, they're not being mean. They're just saying the quiet part out loud. Because when someone's lies are that obvious and their arrogance is that thick, mockery becomes a common response. There's comedy, and then there's the surgical satire of Lysandra Vasquez. Her viral impersonations of Karoline Leavitt aren't just funny, they're straight up badass. She's dismantling propaganda with a wig, some eyeliner, and more truth in 60 seconds than Leavitt gives in a whole press briefings.
They actually released a reciprocal tariff of 84%, which just goes to show you that America is the #1 power in the world, and that 84%, 1984, great year. That's when my husband graduated college. 1984, a great famous book, inspired the show Big Brother, which was at the same time #2 to Apprentice, which was hosted and executive produced by our president.
You want to understand why these videos are absolutely blowing up? Because they're right. Every word, every exaggerated blink, every smirk. Lysandra isn't just acting, she's exposing. Her take on Leavitt is part roast, part documentary. Let's start with the look. The stiff hair, the perfect part. The cross necklace turned into a paper hot dog or an American flag. It's all intentional. Lysandra is highlighting what the real Karoline Leavitt uses as political props: faith, patriotism, and the polished appearance. But when those things are hollow, when the faith is selective and the patriotism is performative, it all starts to unravel. And Lysandra shows us exactly what that unraveling looks like. And then there's the dialogue. It's word for word the kind of drivel that Leavitt actually delivers. And the way Lysandra says it, with that rehearsed calm, the fake certainty, the forced smile, it's comedy gold. But it's more than that. It makes people laugh. Because when people are angry, confused, and watching a press secretary lie through her teeth on live TV, satire becomes truth's last line of defense. Lysandra is giving voice to something most of us feel. Karoline Leavitt is not good at it. She's not competent, she's not truthful, and she's not convincing, but she is dangerous. Because her job is to normalize the absurd. And that's exactly what makes this satire so effective. She's parroting a press secretary who brags about how her family never took government assistance, while her family business raked in over $400,000 in pandemic relief funds. She's parroting a woman who shuts down questions about war plans and dismisses economic pain as strong leadership. Lysandra isn't mocking Karoline Leavitt because of how she looks. She's mocking the performance, the mask, the idea that this act can fool anyone anymore. It can't. And that's why it's all going viral. Lysandra doesn't just impersonate Leavitt. She calls out the tension that's playing out in real time between Leavitt and people like Caitlin Collins. She literally name drops Caitlin in her skits. That's the moment the satire shifts from imitation to documentation. Lysandra is teasing the cracks in Leavitt's composure, the fake calm that shatters whenever Collins asks a real question. What we're watching is a three-part performance: Leavitt flailing under pressure, Collins holding steady with quiet fire, and Lysandra turning the whole showdown into a viral masterclass in comedic truth-telling. This kind of comedy is important. It's cultural resistance. When truth gets bent out of shape, satire straightens it out by showing how ridiculous it's become. And you can tell it's working because Leavitt got absolutely rattled by it.